Hey, good morning. Let's go to here. I'm not going to do the starting soon screen today. It I found that it just added a huge time-consuming step to my getting things posted, workflow, and everything like that. It's causing me to fall behind, especially while I'm dealing with things in the application that I want to be spending much more time on than I am. So here I is. Yesterday, I spent the whole of both sessions fighting with the CSS on the in the Blazor app and trying to get it to behave itself. And I still haven't been successful. I worked at it until like 9:30 last night, and it's still kicking my butt. But it's the kind of thing that's going to bug me until I've got it solved. And I feel like I'm making a little bit of headway with it, so I'm going to keep going. This session may be just more of the same from prior to. So let's dive in and try and get this sorted out. Let me tell you, working with CSS is like when it's awesome, and when it's not, it is an absolute train wreck. That's the best way I can describe it. Okay, so I've commented out the thing that loops out and goes out to get the excuse me, it goes out to get the data, because I don't necessarily need that in the main thing. Now, what I want to do while I try to get this sorted out here is I'm going to just add a temporary style out here on the home page. Height, let's say 900 pixels. Text, align. I think it's text align. Center. Yeah, what the hell. Let's see if that does it for us. Do I have to restart? Yes, I do. So I'm trying to force a scroll bar on the, I believe this is all within a feature host. And okay. So we're scrolling successfully here, which means feature header is working, although it's putting this weird highlight like it's focusing on the header. But I've got this working properly. So that's what I want there. So let's inspect and see what actual classes and attributes are applied to these things. So header is feature host header. Good. And our footer is feature host footer. And then in here, we've got the main, which is feature host main. And it's showing the behavior that I want to see, which is great. Outside of whenever it loads, it's focusing this H1. And I thought I saw something in there somewhere in all the CSS that's causing that to happen. And I don't know why. New window. Why is my H1 tag getting focused on load? Here we go. Blazor H1 element is focused on startup for no apparent reason. Okay. Tried changing it to an H2 and the behavior goes away, but then the font is not correct. I've poured through the CSS. Yeah. Focus on navigate, route data. Yerp. I bet that does it. It does this. Okay, focus on navigate. I'm gonna take an easy win real quick. Let's come down to App Razor. I bet it's in here. Render mode, pre-render false. Excuse me, it doesn't appear to be there. Is it in main layout? It's definitely not in main layout. Is it on home? Nope. All right, Shift Control F for find in files. Where the heck are you? Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. What did I do? Escape. Shift Control. Oh, there we go. Shift Control F. Different keyboard. Focus on navigate. Not the entire solution, but just the current project. Find all. Routes.razor. Here we go. I'm just gonna stop the project because this is altering code. Comment that guy out and let's run him. Hey, I'm over here. Silly thing. The cat must have moved outside or something. Hey, that fixed it. Good. And that's still functioning the way I want it to. So, I wonder what would happen if I can close this. I'm going to come into Create NPC Razor, and I'm going to add a page. I'm going to add a heading in here. Heading. And this is our feature host. So I'm going to add a heading, NPC, manage NPCs. Just save that. Sometimes it updates, sometimes it doesn't. I'll just refresh it manually. Pop in here, manage NPCs, and it all scrolls around. Not quite what I wanted to have happen. So we need to inspect and see what's what. So here's the app host, sidebar, feature host is here. Heading. Use the wrong tag. Header. Save it. Restart it. That was my silly. Okay. So here's this. It's still all scrolling. So we better inspect. Header. Says it's a feature host header. So I'll come in here and go main. Cut that out of here. Pop it down here. Footer. NPC. Manager. Footer. Just to give it some stuff to chew on. Refresh. So that's all scrolly and happy. And we are now scrolly and happy within there. Fantastic. That makes me grin. So that says this space in here, this main, is now acting as a feature host main. Good. Pardon me. So instead of this being my task host, I'm going to apply class equals task host here. Save that. And we'll come into our NPC list. And we've got our header, our main, and our footer. Let's refresh. Fingers are crossed, toes are crossed. I cross my eyes, but then I can't type. Okay, so that's all still scrolling. But let's see. We'll inspect this. It's my footer. And this is still getting feature host footer. Inspect that. Task host, div class shown. Ah. Aha. And I suspect that if I take these, because those chevrons mean direct children only, and I've got all of that stuff in a div. So I'm going to save that. Save. Reload. NPCs. We're still scrolling. Inspect. Div class shown. Header. Still has feature host header. This guy just has nothing in it. And that has feature host footer. So instead of applying the task host out here, what if I apply it at the NPC list level? And I say div class equals task host, not dev, div. And I actually want to cut that. Come all the way down to the bottom, all the way down here. There's that. Now, uncomment this just for a minute and comment out all of this stuff. Test text here while I get stuff figured out. Save. Okay, so that's all scrolly and good. This is still not scrolly and good. Let's inspect. Here's the footer. Says it's a task host. Why is the... Oh, because my style's broken. Task host, display flex, flex direction column. And that's not as big as it needs to be. So we got to come up to the task host and set height to 100%. Save it. Will refresh work? Well, restarting the app will. I really should have repaired that other CSS while I was out there. And let's inspect. Main is here. That's the feature host main. Let's come into shown. Because it's only the size of the parent. And it's because of that encapsulating div there. So we got to look at both the structure of create NPC Razor. So we've got this div here, right? And then I need to find a way to inject this into here. So This is cheesy. I don't much care for this, but view code. Parameter new NPC handler, view NPC handler, current page state. Okay. Public string. Visibility. Get set. It's going to be a parameter. I really don't like this. This feels hacky. But I'm going to come out here, add a new parameter here underneath current page state. Visibility equals grab this. And get rid of that. Pop that out of line. Shift tab that back. Save it. And see if this gives us what we want. NPC list footer is here. The whole darn thing is scrolling. But that's because down here, we've got those other controls. So we've got our task host. We've got this div class hidden with stuff in it. We've got another div class hidden with more stuff in it. I feel like I need to change the way those are being shown and hidden. I think they're down here. Yeah, instead of height 0 visibility hidden, I think I need to do, I'm going to comment those out and just say display none. Go. Let's try that. Pop in here. NPC list footer goes here. We've got no scrolly scrolls. Oh, I feel like we're getting close. Now we're still going to get some weirdness. I expect. But I think we've about got it licked. And then we got to test the snot out of this thing. I also need to refactor the other view controls. Hey, look at that. So I can get rid of that test text. That can go bye-bye. See you later. Save that. Oh, there is something I want to look at before I restart. We still have these pesky little horizontal scrolls down here. And those kind of suck. But I think I might be able to get rid of them without too much trouble. The important thing is we've got our feature banner, feature footer, which we can make go away. We've got our task level banner here and our task level footer. Let's view. And of course, that changes things down here. Back to list. Okay. And I noticed that when I switched views, we stayed visible. Like we have to scroll down to that stuff, which is not what I want. And I want to put back to list up at the top because that's feature level. But I only want back to list when it's thing, when we're not on the list. All right, let's fully refresh this view. There we go. Let's get rid of this horizontal scroll bar first. Let's finish our work in NPC List Raiser. Now, the big thing that's going on here is I was using row type stuff, and that's blowing stuff up. It's not being our friend. So let's do that. Get rid of all that reference to rows and crap like that. We'll save and reload. And yes, the pure front end people are snickering up their sleeves at me. You wouldn't have to do that if you were using React. No, I wouldn't. But we've got all our goodies. Now we've kind of blown out this behavior where I want this over here. But we're in a somewhat better place. Real quick, let's come into our feature host and improve some of the spacing in our box. So I think what I'm going to do is our margin is going to stay 0, but we're going to add a little bit of padding. And I'm going to go with, on the top and bottom, I'm going to go with 0.1 REM. And on the sides, I'm going to go with 0.15 REMs. Just a little narrow gutter between the very edge of the area and the content. So let's see what that gave us. That may or may not refresh for us. See, okay. So we've already booped in a little bit. We're no longer like flush up right against the edges. And I think we can actually afford to go with 0.25 on the top and bottom and 0.5 on the sides. So let's refresh this guy. Okay, we're booped in quite nicely here. I don't mind that one bit. And I think I want to add border not a border there. Let's look at something real quick. Let's shrink this down to the mobile view. The NPC manager footer is there. That's good. Over here on the app footer, and that's all the way up here, I think only when it's visible. So we'll come down to the media query. I'm going to add border top, solid 1 pixel, and we'll just go with black for now. We may not always. And we'll come out here, and since we're just dealing with the CSS, and for some reason it kind of works here, but you see we've got that footer content, we've got a nice little boundary between there. Let's add one to the feature footer. Oh, where's feature host? Footer. Here we go. Border top. We'll go with solid 1px, black, border top, style. What attributes do we have here? Okay. I don't want style, but I do want width. No. That doesn't do what I thought it was going to do. That's the width of the line. So I have to just go with that. I want to look something up real quick. Is there a way to set the percentage, the length of a CSS border along its side in percent? I don't want to do thickness. Any way to limit border length. Add a div, add a border on the left of the div that only stretches halfway up. Div after, background, position absolute, height 50, width 1 pix. Ew. Ew. No. You can set your resize border element to appear centered. Excuse me. No, I'm not going to mess with that. All of those answers were ugly. And on the task host footer, let's go ahead and give it, okay, so we've already got the solid 1px black. I just have to fix it. Not that way. That's breaking it worse. Task host header, 1px black. Should probably give this border bottom solid 1px black. Save it all. Refresh my page. Okay, that's a little better. But we're gonna work on a better way of breaking up those visual elements in a little bit. First thing I want to do is fix this. And it's actually not as difficult as any of the things that we've done before. So I do need to come into the CSS for this. I don't need to be in the C#, but let's take a look at what we've got. So we've got an NPC list item. We're going to add a new class name, NPC list item data. And then down here, div class equals NPC list item actions. Give me a new line here. Pop that there. Back you out to where you belong. And we're gonna come down here. We're gonna pop all that in. Okay. So now we need to come into the CSS. So here's our NPC list, padding top, border top, yeah. This becomes a display flex, turning it into a flex box. And it is going to flex as a column. Boop. Save. And this just gives us our alternating background colors. I don't know if this is actually going to automatically update for us. Yeah, I think that CSS gets compiled in. So that means we have to do a full restart of the application. Come out here, it's loading. All right, no changes yet. I didn't expect there to be. So what we got to do is our NPC list item is also, do we still have our alternating row colors? No, we don't. We lost those. I'll look into that later. First thing we got to do is turn our list item into a flex box. So display is flex. Now this guy, our flex direction, is going to be row. And I'm going to leave that empty line there. Dot NPC, not slash, but dot NPC list item data. Guess what? It's another flex box because we have to change the direction of flow again. Flex direction is a column. Justify content, flex start. And then what's that new class that we introduced out here, new CSS class? It is a NPC list item actions. So I'm going to copy that so I don't have to type it. And I'm thinking. going to make it a flex box. Our flex direction in here is row. Justify content. We're going to center it. Let's come out here and review. NPC list item actions. We've got a button. So NPC. I might be about to do something really awful to my layout here. I might have to back that out and wrap this in a... Yeah, no, I can't do that there because I still haven't added the filter user controls. So what I need to do, div class equals NPC list. Grab my close tag. Drop it there. Save. Oh, what are you doing? Stop. No, I blew something up. I did something dumb. There we go. By introducing this HTML element right inside here, I broke it out of C# mode or Razor mode. So I had to reintroduce the @ to say, hey, it's code here. Oh, nonsense. It doesn't exist. Don't be silly. Save, build, rebuild. We'll fix that little red wagon in a second. And if that doesn't work, we'll just close the file and run it, and it'll be fine. I've noticed that Visual Studio and Razor get a little funny. Oh yeah, it's still being funny. That's okay. We'll close it and run it. And I bet it'll work just fine. See, I told you. Sometimes Razor gets goofy. Okay, so we're almost there. View is way too tall. And it's way over to the left. I want it justified off to the right. So there's a flex box thing. Justify content. And I believe it's space between. I think that's how you give it pug eyes. And I call it pug eyes when you've got like a UI container and it's got two elements in it, and one of them is over here and the other one's over here, like the photographs of pugs where they're all kind of like just looking off in different directions like they're about to grow eye stalks. And there we go. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out how to constrain the height on these buttons. And I don't want to have to do an individual element style on this, but I feel like that's going to be the shortest path to getting this sorted. And without writing some crazy stuff. Show create button as string. Okay, so there's that. filtered NPCs. It's this button. And you know, it occurs to me as I do this stuff that all of these styles, I'm going to want to reuse these later. Just saying. But let's not goof around with that right now. Instead, I'll come over here. Because what if I had one of these guys? I'm going to copy him, and I'm going to paste him, and I'm going to rip out this on-click because we don't actually have anything for it yet. Edit. I'm going to rip that out because that can go away. As a matter of fact, let's just bring this whole thing up onto a line. BTN secondary, button, etc. What's all this nonsense? So we've just added 2, and I believe we've already got the actions as a row. So that's good. Let's reload this. I'm going to rip out that edit button in a second. It's just fake news right now. But I want to figure out how to constrain the heights. Oh yeah, I blowed that up real good. I screwed something up. Just a second. It happens. What did I do? Oh, Rob. What did you do? I see what I did. Okay, and because I fixed the code stuff, I have to do a hard reload. All right. So yeah, all of the JavaScript people are going, Rob, you wouldn't have to deal with all of this stuff. You could just do edit and continue and hot reload until you were blue in the face. So there's this stuff. So all right, let's see if we can constrain the height of those buttons. And I don't want to do it. Oh gosh. Ugh. So I'm going to take this, copy that, NPC list item actions, direct child button. And flex grow, not gal, but grow 0. Flex shrink. It's got to be a dash, not a colon. Too many colons in the world. And I want to say 1. Control S. And I'm going to Google this in a minute, but unfortunately, when you're dealing with CSS and stuff like that, if you ask what's the best way to constrain the height of a visual element, you just find holy wars. Okay. So let's go to the Google. Code setup, page title, what's this? Okay, that's that. That's okay. It'll get me to a new Safari window just as well as anything else. Let's pop this over here, shrink that down, and let's do how should I constrain the height of buttons using HTML and CSS. I'm using Flexbox. Property messes with button height. Center horizontally and does not mess with the height of the button or other child elements. Same height as you can see here, demo. How to prevent button from taking up full width. I want that to happen in places. How do I maintain my height in Flexbox? How do you prevent height stretch? Here we go. This CSS Flexbox layout guide, by the way, is pretty handy. So we've got our container, we've got our items, right? And flex grow. I could probably set flex grow to 0. Flex shrink, flex basis. Okay. Yeah. Align cell. I don't want to stretch. Align content. Nope. I do want to set some row gap. No, wait, column gap. Or just some gap. All right. First things first. Let's do the easy stuff first. First thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of margin around these buttons. All right. I'm going to come into list item actions and I'm going to set a gap property. So gap, and sticking with avoiding the pixel thing wherever possible, I'm going to go with 0.1 REM. And I had looked up what REM means versus EM a while ago, and it's fallen back out of my head, of course. But it has to do with, oh, that's a little nicer. Let's pop that to 2. Save it and refresh it. Okay, that I can live with. Now, who is setting the height on my screen elements? Oh, you know what? I'm focused way too much on the desktop experience, and I should be looking at the mobile experience. And I'm pretty happy with that. This is absolutely live withable. We're going to get these positioned out better this afternoon. But hooray victory. We got the scrolls to work. We got them working the way I want them to, on at least on the list item, or at least on the townsfolk index. And that means I can apply what we did to the other controls once I get some basics sorted out here. I definitely want to figure this out. And let's set that as a 5-minute goal. If I can't get it in 5, we're just going to say enough. How tall are these guys? How tall are you anyway? You're like 81 pixels tall, and that's way too big. What if we set our max button height to 50? Or say 2 rem? Let's get rid of this. And what if we height clamp? This is a new thing I learned about. So clamp takes 3 values: minimum, preferred, maximum. So I'm going to say for minimum, 1.2 rem. Preferred, I'm going to say 2 rem. Max is 2.5 rem. Let's try that. I just read about clamp last night. I don't know if this is going to give us what we want. Well, it gave us sort of what we're looking for. It's not pretty. So 32 is 2 rem because 1 rem is 16. So if 1 rem is 16, if I go to 4 rem, minimum will be 2. I want 3 rem. So if the base font height is 16 pixels, the minimum height for our button will be 32, and that's too high. I think 24, and that's 1.5. 3 rem is 48, which is about as small as I want to get. Like that's I think we'll make that my preferred size. Because any smaller than that on mobile is gonna be too hard to hit. It'll be like the X button on those ads in the games you play, when you like hit the X and it keeps bringing you back to the App Store. That's a giant pain in the neck. And 4.5, 4 rem, 4 times 16 is 64. You know what? That's about as big as I want to get there. And let's keep things to just integers, because I don't like doing decimal math in my head. And let's see what, okay, so that's a little better. That's a little better. Now, I want So justify content handles the horizontal back and forth, right? Align content or align items handles the up and down. So we are in our actions. So let's say align items will be centered. Save that. There. Oh, look, we have our alternating row colors back too. All right, now the total height of this flex item is a lot more than I want it to be. Like, what gives here? That's 99.59. I do want to take a look at these buttons again real quick before I... Oh, come on, Rob. There we go. 48. So that's my preferred. 48 divided by 3 is 16. And I come back up here. Here's the actions. There's the data. Here's my list item. And let's take a look here. We are 81.594 pixels tall, which is way too tall. Let's take a look at the data. Name label, list detail. Okay. So I don't have any padding or spacing or anything like that around it, but I've got this big honkin' space in between those two elements. So that suggests to me that the justify content, list items data, justify content, flex start. Yeah, okay. Do I even have that correct? Is that spelled right? What happens if I take it out? Let's comment it. Save. Do I have anything dumb? Font size, font weight, bold, padding left, 1M. Let's change this to rems instead of M's. Save all of that. I think I do want to standardize on rems rather than M's. And why do we have all that space in there? Might it be something in the razor? Yep. Yep, totally something in the razor. I remember having had put that BR in there, but now that this is a flex box and each item gets its own row in the column, I bet removing that line break will give us some goodies. I hope. So I joke about fool around and find out development all the time. And on one hand, it's kind of fun when it's going well, but when it's not going well, but you still got to get the crap done, it gets just crazy making. And I think that's why I've kind of hidden behind the API for the past 10 years or so, because the amount of head scratching and, well, let's try this, this should work, crap, no it didn't, just it's not good for my brain, man. Like, if you hold my feet to the fire, I'll do some front end stuff, but I think I'm much happier at the systems level. I'm don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with the progress I'm making here. And this afternoon, I think this stuff is positioned and placed well enough that I can let this sit. So this afternoon, we're going to take a look at create and view, and we'll get those brought into this this way of doing things. And then that's probably going to take the entire hour this afternoon, and then some, I would guess. And then we're going to start playing with some typography and getting some standardized stuff and making these headers and footers look a little better, things like that. I've noticed that we've got some goofiness happening over here. I'll just iterate and futz with this stuff offline, because I've got it to a point of good enough that I don't want to spend any stream time doing that. But I think in this afternoon's stream, I'll get the other two views pushed into this format and this structure, and we should have a much more cohesive feeling application when we get out of it. So yeah, awesome. There's probably going to be more cursing. Not everything is going to be perfect. We're still going to have this create button kissing the top and bottom of its area and stuff like that. I'm not super in love with the solution I came up with over here, but it'll do. It'll be okay. So view, I go back to my list. Yeah. And then we got to think about putting in the filter controls. I've kind of gotten distracted from those and haven't done them because I've been just woo around the UI. That's another reason I don't like UI development, is it's really bad for my ADHD. Like, it cranks it up to 100 ADHD. Just because I see things and it's like, oh, I can tweak that, and it's just bad. Like, the UI is a fun place for me to play. I don't think I should be asked to deal with it in a professional scenario, because I'm just going to let you down, man. I'm going to take way too long to get anything done. So until this afternoon, I'm going to go have some lunch and maybe sit and hang out with Mrs. for a little bit. And let's see if there is a raid that I can do. Let's see if the Froggy McPants people are online or not. Search and filter, similar or smaller size, no. Same category, no. Let's see here, Frog Pants. Because they're friends of ours, and they're good people. And it does not appear that they are online. All these folks are in software and game development. There's Paragon Stream. Leak code with Rust. Android, simple or not. Draggable overlay settings. Gosh, I wish I could see where the frog pants people are. That's annoying. Well, oh, okay. CK not Bush. Let's find them. CK not Bush. Let me copy this. Here we go. Paste. Nope, no channels found. Okay, well, nobody to raid for me right now. So I will see you all this afternoon. Have yourselves a great rest of your morning, and happy coding. Take care, everybody.